Okay, we've got the filter all poured, and then 1 hour after we poured, we removed these two screws and these two screws. And you probably wonder, well, why would you have to remove those screws? Well, we've got proof right here that that concrete shrinks, and when it shrinks, this whole column, 3 feet, will settle down just a skosh as it shrinks. And we can prove that by looking in at this hole. You see that there's a half a hole that it settled there, a half a hole that settled here. So everything had to shift down a bit. Now, see there, half a hole there.
Too much for the camera.
And a good half a hole, almost a hole on the nose. Had we not taken these screws out and it had to shrink, there's a good chance that we'd get leaks right in here, which has happened in some of our filters when we don't do this. So it's very important that we give that concrete room to shrink, which is just a minute, but it's enough to cause some problems. Okay, there's an alternate method of providing room for that concrete to shrink. If you don't have a plate to remove, you can take your screwdriver 1 hour after you've poured and go up here under the nose on this nose plate and just push real hard and pull it along like this several times so that the concrete at this lip can still settle. We've had results with that as well. So there's two ways of relieving and giving room for that concrete to shrink. Okay, this leakage, so all through here, this filter is leaking. And the reason it's leaking is this bit of a lip right here that held up this concrete from settling with the bottom. Had this lip in the mold not have been there, we wouldn't have this leak. We're just showing this to show what a hindrance in the concrete settling, what it can do to your filter. And I'll show you what the little lip was in this mold here. You can see where we raised our nose and just put a patch on. We had this lip, and it was enough to cause that separation of the cement when it cured. So that's why we put this plate and remove the screws after 1 hour of pouring, or take a screwdriver and make a little room for the concrete to settle there with it. Now we're ready to demold our filter housing. We'll start by popping this Home Depot bucket lid out. And now we've got our inside mold that needs to have the screws removed. There'll be a screw removed for each plastic anchor, and there'll be 2 screws removed from each angle iron. We do all that before we remove the inner shell of the mold. That's one angle, and there's 3 more to remove. And now for the screws that hold the anchors. And those screws, after we remove the inner shell, will be put back into the plastic anchors to hold the garden hose that holds the diffuser plate. Okay, we've got our angle irons out, we've got our screws out that hold the anchors, plastic anchors.
Okay.
This time we'll pop the bucket lid out from below. Grab the rope, give it a good jerk, and hopefully it'll just pop right out. So I'm reaching down to get the rope. And there's our bucket lid, came out. And now we're ready to remove the inner shell of the mold. So we'll remove these 3 screws. And notice this bottom screw is up off the floor a bit, so we can reach it. Okay, now the inner mold is ready to remove, and it'll just come away from the side wall very easily. We just kind of wind it in on itself to make it smaller, and we can grasp it. Pull it out. And now